Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I got some bad news for those countries who use euro as their currency, and the bad news is that inflation reached 9.1%. That is the official number. Probably the real number would be much higher if you look at the groceries and gas prices and electricity and gas and all that. Gas for the house, gas like for your car. This article comes from Associated Press from August 31st, 2022. Inflation hits 9.1% in countries using euro currency. Inflation in the European countries using the euro currency hit another record in August, fueled by soaring energy prices mainly driven by Russia's war in Ukraine. Annual inflation in the Eurozone's 19 countries rose to 9.1%, up from 8.9% in July, according to the latest figures released Wednesday by the European Union statistics agency Eurostat. Inflation is at the highest levels since record keeping for the euro began in 1997. The latest figures add pressure on European Central Bank officials to continue raising interest rates, which can tame inflation but also stifle economic growth. Prices are rising in many other countries as Russia's war in Ukraine grinds on. What does that have to do with inflation? Oh, the sanctions? Oh, I got it. That could have something to do. But the war itself? No. The help? Yeah. Because you send money over there that you don't have. And then what are you going to do with, how do you supply your market with money? Are you going to print some? Are you going to borrow some? What are you going to do? That's inflation, my boy. So it's not the war. The war in itself has nothing to do, would not have affected this, unless these weasels in charge of you in Europe and of me here didn't take any steps towards imposing sanctions on Russia. And they didn't impose sanctions on Russia actually because Russia seems to be mildly attacked by these sanctions. The sanctions seem to attack more the countries that impose sanctions on Russia, which actually is imposing sanctions on themselves. So prices are rising in many other countries as Russia war in Ukraine grinds on, triggering unprecedented increases for energy and food that are squeezing household finances. Disruptions to global manufacturing supply chains caused by the coronavirus pandemic have also played a role in pushing up prices. That was the first one and then this, so you should start with that one. But they tried to cover that with this one. This summer has seen a wave of protests and strikes around the world by workers pushing for higher wages and people fed up with the high cost of living. And you're gonna have a higher cost of living. We, not only you. Inflation in Britain, Denmark and Norway, which have their own currencies, is also surging according to official data released earlier this month. UK residents face an 80% jump in annual household energy bills, regulators warned last week. So UK residents, not citizens, just residents, face an 80% jump in annual household energy bills. So if you had, let's say, $20, now you're going to pay, I don't know, $100, right? That's kind of like fair. If you had, let's say, $200 or 200 pounds, you're going to pay 1,000 pounds. I think it's fair. They said that the cost for gas, I think, will jump from an average of 1,971 pounds is going to jump to about 6,000 pounds by April. That was an article I made a video on. So from 2,000 pounds, an average per year, I'm sorry, I don't know if I say per month, but it's per year, will jump to 6,000 per year by April next year. So good luck to you guys. I don't think you have a lot of wood over there, but whatever. Maybe you're gonna go to Siberia and get some. So inflation, yeah, 80%. 8% increase in household energy in Great Britain. Inflation is also high in the US, adding urgency for the Fed to keep raising interest rates. Prices were up 8.5% in July compared with a year earlier, though that was lower than 9.1% in June. And in the Eurozone, energy prices surged 38.3% through the rate, though the rate was slightly lower than the previous month. So it jumped 38.3, so 40%. Though the rate was slightly lower than the previous month, while food prices rose at a faster price of 10.6% according to Eurostat's preliminary estimate. The Energy's financial report released about 2 weeks later is usually unchanged. Specific European problems continue to push inflation higher. Yeah, Russia, again, a major energy producer, has been reducing the flow of gas to European countries, and by sanctions and by will. And then they also blame the unprecedented drought in Europe. And that would get to another policies of global warming that will make you, since that's an emergency, they will make you shut up and go into work, and you're gonna do this what we tell you, and we're gonna pay you how much we consider. How is that? Own nothing and be happy? Yeah. Price rises for manufactured goods like clothing, appliances, cars, computers, and books accelerated to 5%. I think it's much more than 5%. I know here in the United States, the price for a used car jumped about $9,000 overnight with the pandemic. $9,000, it was an average. And they tell me 5%, yeah, okay. And the cost of services rose 3.8%. All right, if you say so. The euro weakens in another factor keeping prices high. The currency has slipped below parity with the dollar, which can make imported goods more costly, particularly oil, which is priced in dollars. Still priced in dollars. So, great times ahead, and I would have a little prediction here. And the prediction is, even if tomorrow, Russia-Ukraine war ends, even tomorrow, do you think this will change? Do you think all this spike is going to go like this, or is going to take about 50 years to plateau and then go down, or never go down? Because inflation is inflation, and I think there's that's my assessment on it. I think there are many other reasons why things are as they are, and we're going to figure them out little by little. As a general rule, I think that the actions that occurred regarding sanctions were not as a really voluntary, how should I put it, moral standing or virtuous move in the part of our leaders. I don't believe that a bit. I think that was just used for us to get along with what they will do to us. That's what I think. And it's if you do something that doesn't affect, the one that you apply that policy to affect and doesn't work, you change it, right? The definition of insanity, doing the same thing and expecting a different result. That's right here. Russia is still selling oil, gas, and have no problems. We have, but somehow we continue doing what we're doing because we're doing great. That means, inflation. And inflation is going to be high, and they can try to figure out inflation, keep it down with the Fed raising and all that. Yeah, you can do that, but if you print money in the same time like crazy because you have a economy, or no economy, you have a service-based economy. We massage one another all day. We don't produce anything but weapons, and we want to have an industry. What industry? I mean, what do you think, let's say, the other countries want from us? Services? In order to get services, they have to come over, or we have to go over there and provide it. What do you have? Weapons. What do you produce for those guys over there? Computers? chips, software, telephones, what? Anyway, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.